we're in. Gee. Blimey. So we've only got £3 line on, so, well, 3.8, but we'll be careful. Oh, this feels quite a beefy fish. He's trying to get into those lilies, and he's in there. Oh, yeah. Good morning, folks. Well, it's been a while, as they say. It's probably nearly 3 weeks since I've been out. I sat out the heatwave week, and the following 2 weeks have been a bit up and down with lots of rain and yeah, not really very hospitable. But I did go out last week, not fishing. My wife and I came to Barnwell Country Park in Northants, and that's where I am at the moment. I came over here really to check out some Wellingborough and district waters, but they've got a backstream of the Nene, or the Nen perhaps if I'm in Northamptonshire. Yeah, they've got a backstream, and I wanted to have a look at it because it sort of appealed to me. But when I tried to get access to it, on the website it said you went through the grounds of a restaurant. Well, the restaurant's no longer there, and there was a coded entry gate which I couldn't get through, so that didn't really work out. But we came to this country park and we had something to eat here and had a walk round, and there's a couple of lakes here you can fish. So I decided I'd come over here. I bought a permit this morning. You can only buy it on site, you can't do it online, so I thought as I was coming over to get a permit I might as well have a go, as they say. There's 2 lakes you can fish, the North Lake, which apparently is the more popular, and the Mill Lake, and I'm on the Mill Lake. The thing about these lakes, they've not been stocked. They are old gravel pits and they have not been stocked. I did do a bit of research on the internet, see what I can find out about them, and going back about 20 years really, there was some comments about carp and what have you, but not too much recent comments, so it's a clean slate for me. So I've come up to this Mill Lake. I've plumbed up a swim here, and it is quite deep just off the edge, which is fairly characteristic of some gravel pits. I don't know what I'm going to catch. Apparently there are tench in both the lakes, not a lot of carp, which is good news. And the tench are probably going to be tricky to catch, so I'm not over hopeful for that, but we'll see if we can get something else. But they did mention that they had stocked a few crucian in this Mill Lake, so that would be nice, but we'll see, shall we? So, yeah, a lot of natter, sorry. But anyway, we're here, all set up, ready to go, and we'll see what we can get. A bit of a blustery day today, unfortunately, so not quite sure how that's going to go, but there we go. Yeah, can't change the weather. It's been pretty awful recently. In fact, yesterday it absolutely bucketed down all day, so that may affect the fishing. A lot of cold rain, and it was pretty cold this morning as well. Anyway, enough chattering. I'll get on with it and see what happens, okay? Right, the time is 10:48, so quite late really, but it's nearly an hour's drive for me to get here, and it was quite an easy drive actually. I was surprised. I got here probably about 9:30, but I had to go to the visitor centre to get the permit sorted out, which involved producing a laminated permit with my photograph on. I had to bring a couple of passport photos, so it's all quite efficient really. Some little baby duckies. As I turn round you might see them. 3 little ducklings. Yeah, anyway, so enough of that. Yeah, so I'm all set up. It is pretty deep. The hook's here in the keeper and the float is up at the 5th eye. What I forgot to do is put a bit of shot on the line. All the excitement. Yeah, I'll have to do that before I cast in. But anyway, I plumbed out to the left, and same sort of depth, just on the edge of the weed there. But I'll turn around a bit. You can see here they've dredged out a lot of weed, and the lady in the visitor centre did sort of mention to me this is a bit of a weedy lake, so that might be a problem. But they have dredged it out a bit, or raked it out, what you like to call it. Anyway, I tried out there on the left, and I was bringing up that sort of weed on the plummet. So I tried out on the right here, over by where those branches, just on the edge of those branches. Don't need to go out very far because it's quite deep. You can normally fish all around this lake, but there's some work going on a boardwalk, so they've got quite a bit of it fenced off. So I stopped here. There's the North Lake, which apparently is more popular. When I came last week, I had a walk up there and there were a couple of guys fishing. Apparently it's more popular, but I just fancied this little lake. It looked quite inviting, so that may have been a bad decision, but we'll have to see, won't we? Anyway, I'll sort this shotting out on the float and then we'll start fishing. Okay, well, I've got a shot on the line now. Now, the first interesting thing is I thought I'd picked up my match rod this morning when I left the house. I keep all my rods sort of set up, and I picked up this one, which I thought was the match rod, but it isn't. But it won't matter too much. It's the Gray's Prodigy TX 12 foot. The 14 foot rod may have been better, but there we go. Yeah, got a Rapidex reel, main line £6, but I've got a 3.8 pound Supplex hook length from below the shot to the hook, 14 hook. Interesting. Yeah. The trouble is they're both stored in 3 sections, so they're quite short when they're sort of sitting in the study there, and they both look about the same length when they're broken down. But anyway, so we've got the Prodigy TX, we haven't got the match rod, so we'll see what happens, shall we? Yeah, oh dear. Obviously 3 weeks away, losing track. I think we're going to have a problem with weed in this lake. The lady did warn me that there was a lot of weed in this lake, so I'm not sure what's going to happen. Perhaps I should have gone where the others go, to the North Lake. I just like the look of this place. It just looked fishier. I went up to the North Lake when I was here last week. I didn't go too far, to be honest. I just went up to the first bit of the lake I got to, and there was a couple of guys fishing there. But it's quite a big lake, and it was very open. This has got tons of features. It's lovely. Whether it's got any fish remains to be seen. So we'll see, shall we? We'll see. Yeah, the match rod would have been a lot easier to cast where I want to cast. That's where I put some maggots in earlier. I'm just on the edge of those branches. Oh, well, they bite straight away, so they're definitely fish here. whether they're big fish remains to be seen, but there are definitely fish here. Now, be careful with this rod because it's not easy to cast, and if I'm not careful I'm going to end up in those branches. Oh, there we go. First fish of the day, and as expected, not particularly big, and as expected, almost certainly a little rudd. Yeah, tiny little rudd. Well, there may be bigger ones there. Yeah. I'm gonna have to take my jumper off. It was quite cold this morning, but I'm quite warm now. I did say it was going to get a lot warmer today, to be fair. Yeah, that was very close to going in the weed. I'm not in the weed, into the branches. I've got to be careful. Yeah, there's all tons of little rudd here taking it on the way down, aren't there? Perhaps I'll go over to sweet corn. Let's see if that separates the men from the boys, as they say. Yeah, tons of little rudd. Yeah, come off. Yeah, it's not getting anywhere near the bottom, this bait, is it? It's not getting anywhere near the bottom. And he swallowed it. It's so small, it's a bit difficult to get it out. Well, I'm not sure if it's going to work on this lake, folks. I think it might be as well to try the other lake, because I haven't had even a sniff on sweet corn, and I'm just getting these minuscule rudd that are taking it right down. So I think we'll perhaps try the North Lake. Apparently that is the most popular one. Perhaps I should have gone there first, just being clever really, coming to this one. It just looked nice, this lake, but it really is. Every cast on maggots is, the bait never gets anywhere near the bottom. It's just a small rod takes it. As I say, on corn it was out there half an hour and not a touch. So I think we'll cut our losses and have a hike and try the other lake. Might as well while we're here. All caught up in the grass now. Anyway, I'll be back in a while. See what we can find. Well, I've moved. Yeah, I was just catching small rudd after small rudd and small rudd. Yeah, but what clinched it was the ranger. There were rangers here who look after the park, obviously, and the lady who sort of did my ticket for me, or my permit for me this morning, she came along and said that a number of people had caught tench today in the North Lake, which is where I am now. And she had told me the North Lake was more popular. However, I think it might be a case of people feeder fishing here. I passed a couple of guys on the way, and I don't think they were float fishing sort of in the margin or near in. So it may well be my technique is wrong. And she also said quite a few of them will leave at lunchtime, which tends to suggest that they got here very early. So, but there were a number of tench caught in this lake. She said she had been around talking to people. So anyway, I'm on the North Lake now, which is the bigger lake. I'm sort of nestled in between some trees, so fairly sheltered, also in the shade, which is good. Haven't plumbed up yet, and I don't know whether this will fish any different, but give it a try. I really thought I was on a losing wicket. It was a lovely little lake, that first one, but lots of weed and teeming with miniature rudd. So that's where we are. So I'll get myself sorted out, and we'll see how we go. Okay, I'm in my new spot. Yeah, I've just plumbed up literally no further out than the edge of this tree here. In fact, not as far as that. And whereas in the Mill Lake I was the distance from the keeper eye to the float was 5 eyes on the rod, this is 6.5. So these are deep lakes. Anyway, let's see if we have the same problem here as we did before. I won't throw any maggots in to start with, just to make sure I don't prime the rod. But I'll put some on the hook and see what happens. Yeah, it may well be that the tench here are caught on feeder rather than on float. I don't know. Well, I didn't bring a feeder rod. I suppose I could use this, but centre pin reel and all that would be a bit of a challenge. But we'll see what happens. It's a bit of a sort of exploratory day really, because as I say, never fished it before. Not much on the internet about it, to be honest. It was always going to be a bit challenging because it's not a stocked lake, so it's only natural fish in here. Yes. 14-foot rod would have been a lot easier at this depth. Have to cast overhead, I think. That's not far enough out. I've just got trees both sides of me, so I've got to be careful. That's better. Still being affected by the wind, of course. Right, well, we haven't been snatched immediately by a rudd, so perhaps I'll introduce some free offerings, sweet corn and maggots, and see what happens. Still no signs of fish life. I've now got sweet corn on, and it's not proving any more attractive than the maggots. To be honest, if you don't get a bite on maggots, it's usually an indication that you're probably flogging a dead horse, really. But we'll stick it out. The wind's kicking up quite rough. Fortunately, we're reasonably sheltered here, but it really is gusting. I didn't know what to expect in these lakes. As I say, they're not stocked, so they're sort of natural. Well, they are not sort of. They are natural lakes. Although they may have started as gravel pits, they've got the fish in them that they've got in them, and that's it. There's not been any attempt to supplement that, and that's probably why they fish well for tench, because there's nothing in here that really competes heavily with the tench. Often when you get a lot of carp in a lake, the tench suffer. They're basically outcompeted. So it may end up that this turns out to be a very quiet day. But I mentioned that there is a stretch of the Neem back channel, very narrow back channel, just what I like really. Runs around the edge of the park. So once the season opens and once the excitement's died down a bit, because it's probably quite popular, I'll perhaps have a trip here and see if we can pick something out of the backwater. I think they call it a back channel, I don't know why, but there we go. So that's where we are. Bite after bite in the Mill Lake. Majority of which, well, all of which were sort of 2-inch long rudd, or 2 or 3 inch maximum. But here, not a touch. As the fishing is, well, how can I put it? Not happening really. Very nice sitting here watching the float, but it's not doing much. It's not doing anything. Anyway, I thought it was probably a good point just to update you on my sciatica problem that I had mentioned in recent videos. Fortunately, it didn't affect me when I was sitting too much, but it was absolute agony after a fishing session. Getting up, could hardly sort of bend, or walking was painful, and yeah, it was just terrible really. But anyway, the good news is it's eased significantly, and I don't know if that's because it's just sort of taken its course and it's eased, or whether it's because I've actually tried some treatment. Now, I made the mistake of following a link on Facebook about sciatica, and from then on every sort of 3rd or 4th post was someone or other telling me all about what sciatica was, what it wasn't, what worked, what didn't work, what I could buy in the way of sort of contraptions and things to help ease it, and all that sort of stuff. Anyway, one that sort of intrigued me was there was a mention of damaged nerves, or nerves that have been aggravated, need magnesium to help them sort of recover. and apparently it's very difficult to get the magnesium to the nerves by just taking magnesium supplements, orally that is. So this particular post suggested using a magnesium based massage cream, and anyway, let's cut a longish story short. I've been using this cream 3 times a day, although it won't be 3 times a day, but yeah, sort of massaging it in the lower part of my spine, and things have eased. Now, whether that's the cream or whether, as I say, it's just the sciatica sort of taking its course, and whatever the inflammation was just has died down of its own accord, I don't know. But anyway, it seems to have got easier, so it may be the magnesium cream, if anyone's interested. Well, I've moved again. I'd been at that other spot for about just under an hour, not a touch on the float. So I decided just to have a walk around, check out some other spots. And there was a guy fishing here where I am, but he was packing up, a local guy, Alec. And we had a long chat, and he actually got a 6.5 pound tench here this morning. But as I suspected, he was fishing the methods feeder. But he wasn't fishing far out, he was sort of fishing just over the lilies out there. So maybe, he said this is the quietest time of the day now, just after lunch, so whether we'll get anything, I don't know. But anyway, the fact of the matter is, tench had been taken from here, and he showed me pictures of other tench he had caught. So yeah, as I say, this will be the last move, I promise. I'll give it a few hours here and see what happens, and you never know your luck. With lilies in the swim, I'm always sort of happier when I've got something to fish to, and that last swim was pretty plain. There was no features really, but here I've got some features. I love features. So we'll see how we get on, shall we? Well, I think you've got to admit this looks much more inviting than the last place I was fishing. Let's pull this float down a bit, because I can't believe it's as deep here as back there, but I'll plumb it and see. Yeah, it's a much more sort of appealing looking spot, isn't it? He says he's caught tench here before, literally just out by the lilies, so that's obviously shallower than where we were, which I suspected it would be with the lilies there. Yeah, this looks much more inviting than where I was before. Yeah, that's just on the bottom. The tip of the float's just showing. So we go up another inch, and that'll be fine, I think. Right, I'll be back. I'll go put a little bit of loose feed in and get myself organised, and I'll be back. Fingers crossed we may actually catch something. It's a lovely sort of sheltered spot, this. It's not out the wind. You know, the wind's still catching the water, but sort of in the trees here, out the sun. It's a nice spot. Unfortunately, it's probably the spot most people make for. Was. We're in. Gee. Blimey. So we've only got £3 line on, so well 3.8, but we'll be careful. Oh, it feels quite a beefy fish. He's trying to get into those lilies, and he's in there. Oh, yeah. Oof. He's not giving in very easy. God. No, he's not giving in. He's still trying to get in those lilies. I'm quite pleased I didn't bring my match rod now, because I'm not sure I would have coped. God, bloody hell. It's quite a big tench actually. I should have bought a bigger net really. Well, that's a good fish. That is a good fish. Crikey. I think we may have a PB here, folks. Literally hooked just in the edge of the lip. It's a minor miracle that stayed on the hook. Bloody hell. That is £6, £6 6 ounces. But when the net's allowed for, it'd be less than £6. But it's a bloody big tench. What a beautiful fish. Oh, jeez. Wow. That made the day worthwhile. Let's just do another photo shoot just to make sure I've got it. I will not get a record of this fish. No. I think that's a male. £6 6 ounce male. There we go. Right, we'll put you back. Well, folks, I'm sort of regaining my composure after that. When I held the fish up, I said £6 6 ounces. Of course, that's what it weighed in the net. Having done a bit of maths on it, it's £5 10 ounces. So, but that's my PB by quite a long way. I think my previous best was about £4.5. £5 10 ounces. Gee, and what battle! As I say, I've got £3.8 supplix on as a hook length. So I was getting a little bit worried when it was trying to get into those lily pads. Amazing. Well, what can I say? If I don't catch anything else, it don't really matter, does it? But we'll plod on a bit longer. Yeah, we'll carry on a bit longer. Well, I'm still recovering, folks. That was 2 grains of sweet corn on a 14 hook. 14 eyed hook. Drennan Super Specialist. Which all my hooks are Drennan Super Specialist. Yeah, I couldn't believe it when that float went under. I couldn't even less believe it when that fish went off. God, gee. I wasn't expecting big tench today. I didn't bring my bigger net. Anyway, we got him in, that was the main thing. Gee whiz. It's probably disturbed things a bit, I should think. Not sure if we're tangled up there. Yeah, that fish was hooked literally just in the edge of the lip. It's absolutely bloody amazing. It didn't pull out. And there we go. Yeah, the float's going to get all caught up down here now, isn't it? We're all right. Yeah. What was I saying about fishing on the edge of lilies? God, Jesus. Well, I've had a lot of moving around today. It's been more like a roving session on the river. But fortunately, we've ended up in the right place. Many thanks to Alec for letting me know about where they feed and everything. And he also left me a bit of his ground bait, which is a sort of nice concoction of things, including sweet corn. Be greedy if I expect more, I think. But... So we found a lake that's got tench. I'm not bothered by carp, which is really good news. The only trouble is, the time I get here, I'll probably never get this spot again. But there we go. Perhaps the thing is to come about lunchtime and fish into the evening and hope whoever's here early in the morning leaves, which is a fairly good strategy, I suppose. Yeah, I was going to bring my match rod today, not expecting great things, and fortunately this rod is got quite a lot of beef in it. But I'd normally fish 6 pound line through. I wouldn't normally put a weaker hook length on, but it held. That's all that matters. It held. The rod did its job. Yeah, that float was right hard up against that lily pad, and just vanished. Well, a little bit better than on the other lake. I thought the wind had blown the float under and I didn't strike, so unfortunately this one's taking it down a bit. Okay. Yeah, there we go, nice little rut. That's obviously what the maggots produce. Yeah, the wind was sort of dragging my float under and I thought, oh, but then it never came up. And it was a rudd. Yeah, I think this is another rudd. All of a sudden we're getting rudd. This one's a bit better still. It's almost a bit big to swing, really. There we go. You've taken it down as well. Hello, little Duke. Oh shit. Fish just pooed on me now. Good job that net was there. Anyway, we'll put you back, Mr. Rudd. It's a nice fish though. So we'll put you back in the net while I'm throwing you in. There we go. Let's get this poo off me. Go in the wash tomorrow. He's still in there. God, this wind. There we go. It's 3:10. It's been a while since I caught those couple of rudd on maggot, and I'm back on sweet corn. I've been on sweet corn now for quite a while, and that float has been where it is at the moment for quite a while, and it's not much happening. I keep willing the float to go under and another tench to be on the end of it, but I'm not sure that's going to happen. I'll give it another, what is it, it's 3:10. I'll give it to 3:30 and then I think I may pack in and probably all come on again in the evening when I can't stay that late. And I'm quite a way away from home here. I don't usually travel this far. It's sort of just under an hour to get here, but it'll probably take me longer to get back because I'm going to hit a lot of traffic around the Peterborough area. Anyway, so I'll give it another half hour and I'll probably call it a day here. Well, that's it for today. Yeah, bit of a strange day really. Started off on the little mill lake, which really appealed to me. It looked really interesting, but after quite a few very small rudd, I decided perhaps no. Had a chat with the ranger, the woman who did my permit for me. She was walking around and She asked me how I was getting on at the Mill Lake, and I said I'm not very well really. Anyway, she said that the North Lake is more popular, which is where I'm standing now, and she said she had been round there and people had caught tench today, so I thought, well, that's it really. Anyway, after trying a couple of spots on the North Lake, which really didn't appeal to me, but I gave them a try, and then I had a walk round and met a guy who was packing up, and he had had a 6.5 pound tench this morning, so that was quite encouraging. But more encouraging was this swim that he was vacating, and I had a chat with him, and he said, yeah, come and move in here. And as I say, more encouraging was there's some nice lily pads. I love fishing next to features. I don't like these plain, sort of featureless swims. So anyway, and I hadn't had the sweet corn out there very long, and that tench came along, and that was absolutely fantastic really. It's a personal best by quite a long way. A couple of rudd came along a bit later, but that was it really. Didn't get any more bites, but not to worry, I'm more than happy. It was a bit of a tryout day today. As I say, it's a new water, knew nothing about it. I knew it wasn't a stocked water, so I knew it would be challenging. So all in all, a really good outcome. So as always, thanks for watching, and thank you to those of you who like the videos and comment on the videos. River season starts next week, but I'm not sure I'll be going out next week. I know that sounds absolutely mad, but I'm going away with my son at the weekend, at the end of next week. We're going on a fishing holiday, which is, well, it's not a holiday, it's a weekend really. Anyway, he doesn't fish, he's not an angler, so this will be interesting. But anyway, that may mean I don't go out next week. I'll see. I may try and grab a session, but I'm not sure. So yeah, so that's it. Until the next time, as they say, thanks for watching. Bye for now, and cheers.